Hey everybody, it's Brad from Ellicott City Sovac, and today I'm here with the brand new Bernina E16 Pro 16 needle embroidery machine. This is a brand new machine. It just came out. It was announced at BU. It took me by surprise. I had no idea this was coming, and we got it in the store about 2 weeks ago, and I have been playing with it. I've embroidered on jackets and bags and pockets and hats, all kinds of things. You can literally embroider on anything with this. You name it, and there's a way to do embroidery on it with this machine. This is like I said, it's a 16 needle machine. It is a what you would call a commercial machine, but I feel like this is like the first industrial type machine that I've ever used that is designed not with a commercial embroiderer in mind, an experienced commercial embroiderer in mind, but someone who's used to using a home machine that has a full color touchscreen, that has user-friendly design elements and an easy to navigate system for bringing your embroidery up and placing your embroidery designs. I'm going to show you through the course of this video how easy it is to use this, but I mean, I just absolutely love it. It is easy to use. It's a dream to embroider with. It runs at an astonishing 1,400 stitches per minute, and we all have machines that'll go 1,000 stitches per minute. That we've seen running. This machine runs at 1,000 stitches per minute when our machines that I'm used to using are going only 400 and 500 stitches per minute. Like on a wide satin stitch, this thing is running flat out, and it is so fun to watch. So I'm gonna get right into to my video here. I'm gonna do this in the top 10 style, just because that's kind of the style that I'm comfortable with. I've done most of my machine introductions. I'll do a top 10 on it. But before I start with the top 10, I want to talk about the package, the stuff that you get with the machine. This thing is coming with the stand that it's sitting on, which the stand it's metal. It was easy to assemble. It is very sturdy. The machine does not shake around while you're using it on here. When you have the wheels locked, the machine's sitting on this, it is very dampened, and even running flat out, this machine's not shaking all over the place, which I love that. This comes with a total of 6 like normal hoops. Okay, and by normal hoops I mean flat hoops. So this comes with 2 magnetic frames, which I'm going to get to those 2. Those are awesome. I love the magnet frames that come with this. Comes with 3 round frames, which are good for doing like embroidery on shirts and anything that you want to have perfectly even tension on the hoop. A round frame is good for that. Comes with 3 of those. Comes with a 12-inch by 14 hoop, which is massive. And it comes with the cap frame, which the cap frame on this is a dream. It's easy to hoop a hat, and the machine runs beautifully on caps. I've actually I'll show you some of the hats that I did when I get to that number in the video. But so that all comes with it. That's not extra. You don't need to buy a cap frame. You don't need to buy a stand. This comes with that stuff. It also comes with 16 spools of thread, which is wild to me, that you get. It's actually the thread that I have on the machine here. It's 5,000 yard Isacord spools, which is great thread. I haven't had any trouble with this thread at all. So that comes with it. And what else? It also comes with a online training tutorial, which I found to be invaluable. It really taught me from the very beginning exactly what to do on how to operate this thing and how to drive it. So that all comes with the machine. So I think that is an excellent value. Now the price for that package, for all of that stuff, is $16,599. Okay, and then there's an additional $500 delivery fee. They will deliver it to your house for you, but that's $500 to get it shipped. It comes in a big giant pallet, like all strapped to the pallet, and all the stuff comes strapped along with it. So that is the deal. That's the package. That's how much this machine is. Now let's get to the top 10 features of the Bernina E16 Pro 16 needle embroidery machine. Number 1.
The touchscreen.
Okay, so number 1, got to be the touchscreen. I love this touchscreen. It's large, it's clear, It's fast, and it has all of the information that you need. This touchscreen has 2 USB ports built into it. It has a standard USB port, the kind that you're used to when you think of a USB port. Plus, it also has a USB Type-C port, which is great because in 5 years, that's all the USB drives are going to be USB Type-C. So it's like future-proof. Love that. The screen is very responsive when touched, which is great. And it lets me do things like go in and select what hoop I'm going to use. Very quickly I can go to the different categories of hoops, and you'll notice there's tons and tons and tons of options for different hoops that fit this machine. All the kind of different aftermarket hoops are in here. You got Hoop Tech hoops, you got Mighty hoops, you got the Melco hoops, you got fast clamps, which I'm going to talk about fast clamps later. They're like clamping arms that grab onto whatever you want to embroider and are great. The cap frame, everything that you could want to select is right in here. I can say, okay, I'm going to use my 5.5 by 5.5 inch Mighty hoop, which is one of the hoops that comes with the machine. I can say, yes, that's what I want to use. It brings up, that's the space, that the embroiderable area on the hoop. When I want to go and bring up a design, I can go into my folder down here. There's anything that I save to the screen is going to be here. My favorites are here, and this is going to be something that I'm loading off of a USB. When I load a design on here, I love this feature. I have a search function. Okay, so if I know the file name of the file that I'm looking for, I can just type in the search field here. So I can go in here, and if I'm looking for, let's say I've got a logo that specifically I'm looking for. I have, for instance, a puffy Sovac logo that I made, and I know that the name of it has Sovac in it, so I can actually start typing on this keyboard, S-E-W, and look, this is actually the one that I was looking for right here. Absolutely love that. When I select a design, it shows me a larger version of it. It tells me how many stitches it is. It tells me how many size, or it tells me how many size. It tells me the size of it. It tells me how many color changes and trims, all this information. And then when I load it up, it brings it in, shows me whether it fits in my hoop or not. If the screen turns red, that means it didn't fit. And you can zoom in and out with these buttons here. So I can zoom out to the hoop level where I can see how this fits in my frame. And I can pan around. If I wanted to zoom in even further, I could pan around and look at different parts of the design. I can even on this screen, let's say that my design was the same color as my background, I'm able to go in and just add a tap, change the background color of my screen. I love that. I love that that's so fast. You can go in and easily change colors on this screen. I can say, okay, the blue, I want that to be white, and the red, I want that to be orange. And it changes it automatically. Now I'm going to talk a little bit more later in one of my other numbers about the way that color change thing works, because it is really cool. But it's super fast and easy to be able to go in and do anything you want to do on this screen. Another thing I love about this screen is every single thing that you can touch has a help item associated with it. So if I don't know what, for instance, this button does, I can just hit the question mark, and then I can hit the button. The help menu is going to come up on its own. There we go. I didn't quite hit it. The help menu is going to come up on its own and give me an explanation for what that item is. I can even make this bigger so that I can read it a little bit easier. And for a lot of the things, there's videos built in here. Actually, the videos, you have to be connected to the internet, but it has Wi-Fi, so you connect to the internet, and you can actually go in and watch literal YouTube videos with audio on how to drive the machine. So this has video tutorials built in with audio. So here we go. We're watching this guy show me how to set up the machine. Super, super cool. I'm not gonna try to talk over somebody else talking, but it's got, anytime you see this little symbol in the manual, it's gonna give you a video. Okay, so that is super, super cool. That's helped me out a lot because some of the buttons, I'm looking at them and I'm used to baby lock buttons, guys. So I don't know what all the symbols mean, but I can just use this. What does this mean? Oh, what that's gonna move. That's gonna let me skip through a design by the trim, and it shows me how to do all that. So that's super cool. And I just love the way it's designed, not necessarily with the commercial user in mind, in the way that this has all those tutorials built into it and all of that kind of stuff. It's not opaque. It's not difficult to understand what's going to happen when you hit a button on here. And I just feel like that user friendliness makes such a huge difference when you're using a new machine, or a machine like this where you've got all this capability, you know. And I feel like a lot of machines are just hard to figure out how to work, and you know, this one just isn't. And a lot of that is because of this screen. So that's why the screen is number one. Number two, ActiveFeed. Okay, so what is ActiveFeed? Well, ActiveFeed is basically, it's these wheels right here, and what these do is they replace the tension on this machine. That's right. This is a machine that does not have tension. In that way, it's actually very similar to the Baby Lock sergers in that it's measuring the amount of thread that is required to do the stitch based on how thick the fabric is, and you tell it how thick the fabric is. Based off of that, it allows a certain amount of thread out. So the way these tensions work, again, it's not tension, it's just I'll say tension sometimes just because I'm used to sewing machines that have tension, but it's not tension. These rollers don't let fabric move through the system unless it's running, and there's a side effect benefit of that. Now, with this style of machine, when you're changing a color, it's designed for you to cut the thread and tie the new color on to the old color and then pull it through the system so you don't have to rethread the entire machine. And with the ActiveFeed, it keeps the thread from being able to be pulled out of the eye of the needle when you're tying it off. Now, I've had that happen to me many, many, many times. Okay, when I'm doing rethreading a 6 needle or a 10 needle, I have accidentally pulled too hard on the thread and it pulls it out, and then I end up having to rethread the whole stupid machine. You don't have to worry about that with this. You literally can't pull the thread because this is holding it tight. I can't accidentally pull the thread too hard and have it pull through the system. It just doesn't happen. And also, when you are going to thread the needles, I lock that down and it keeps the thread from being able to pull way too much thread out and then end up with a thread tail that's 3 miles long. So having that automatic tension is awesome, and that's like a bonus reason. By the way, this machine threads. The thread goes down into the spool pin, which is wild. It comes with, if you ever needed to thread it all the way from the beginning, it comes with a tool that fishes the thread through the machine, but I've never had to do that yet. It doesn't seem like it would be that hard to do if you ever needed to, but it comes threaded, and you just tie the thread on and pull it through to thread it for the first time. But anyway, yeah, so that's what the ActiveFeed looks like. Now let me show you the way the system looks on the screen. So to tell the machine how much thread I need, right? Because like I said, it doesn't use tension, it measures the thread. It needs to know how much thread needs to come out though. So to tell it how much thread I need, I can go in and touch this little picture of a garment here, and then I touch the type of garment that I'm gonna be sewing, or the type of item. So if I'm doing a cap, I can touch the cap. If I'm doing a towel, I can touch the towel. A heavy jacket, I can touch that. A very lightweight t-shirt, I can touch that. And what that's gonna do is tell the machine how much thread it needs to put out for the garment that I'm doing. Now you can override all these settings and set it to anywhere in between, but this is a great way to set a baseline for like, okay, I'm doing a hat, so let's set it on the hat and go from there and see how it looks. I've had a great time playing with the ActiveFeed settings on here with different types of material, seeing how thick I can get it to go. And there's another great thing we can do that the ActiveFeed will do for me is if I go in and like this design here is a design that's made for puffy foam. So for when it's sewing the foam, this value for the thickness is going to be dramatically thicker because, you know, foam, 3D puff foam is so much thicker than whatever the material that I'm sewing on. So I can actually go in, and this has a mode where I can tell it this color change here, that's for the puff. I can tell it that this is 3D, and it puts a little 3D, It puts a little 3D icon on my color change here so that I can see that that's happened. And what that's going to do is it's going to change the value only when it gets to that color. So for my white color change, it's going to be at the right setting for hats, and then when it gets to the puff, it's going to add in that extra thickness for the puffy foam, and it'll do it for me automatically. I don't have to be there telling it to do it. It'll do it automatically now that I told it that it needs to set itself for puff. So that is super cool. I absolutely love this active feed. I love not having to worry about tensions. In fact, what I'll usually do is tell people not to mess with the tensions on their 6 and their 10 needles, even though, yes, you could get a better result with something that's super thick. It's just easier to just not mess with it. But yeah, your stitches are going to look better if your tension is set exactly right, especially if you're doing something really thick. Your stitches will look better because you need a little bit more thread so that it doesn't pull it as tight. And this gets you that. This gets you that without having to worry about, you know, getting your tension back to the normal setting after you have messed with it. So I'm very pleased with Active Feed. So Active Feed, that's number 2. Very cool feature on the E16 Pro. Number 3, all of the hoops that come with this machine. Okay, so number 3 is the massive amount of hoops that you're getting with the machine. So I want to talk about specifically the hoops that you're getting along with this. That's part of the package. So let's look at the 12 by 14 hoop first. This is it. This is a 12-inch by 14 field on this thing, which is really big. So the 10 needles maximum embroidery field is 8 inches by 14, and so this is the same width, but you get that extra size going this way for, you know, if I wanted to go and do the whole back of a jacket, I can have that extra width. So this is really cool. Now this hoop works like a normal embroidery hoop that you're used to. You've got a screw that loosens and tightens, and it attaches into the machine kind of in the traditional way of multi-needle machines. It just slides right in, clicks into place into the arms that hold it in, and that is how you put this hoop on there. Now all of the standard hoops that come with the machine are going to use these arms where they click in. So the 12 by 14 does that. Also your 5.5 by 5.5 Mighty hoop, which is another hoop that's coming with it. Now this is a magnetic hoop. Okay, this hoop, and again, this attaches to the machine in the same way. Okay, just like that, and that's actually the hoop that I have programmed in that the machine thinks it's using right now. So I'm actually telling it the truth about what hoop it has on it with the 5.5 by 5.5. But so this hoop and also its big brother, the 10 by 10 Mighty hoop. These hoops are so good for hooping things that would be difficult to hoop with a traditional hoop, okay? If you've seen my videos before, you know that I love magnetic hoops, and I went crazy for some magnetic hoops in the past, and I love these. They're so strong. They're so strong. Look, shaking this bag, and that hoop is not coming out because the Mighty hoops are like, they live up to their name. They're really actually mighty. They're so mighty I pinched myself really bad on one, so you do have to be careful with them, but I was being careless, and also I didn't understand exactly the way that they work yet because I didn't have me to explain them to me. But the way that these work is you've got an inner part of the frame and an outer part of the frame, and they just want to be together really badly. So you can go ahead and hoop just about anything in there. You can have seams in there, and it's almost impossible to shift the fabric once you have it in. But I've done things on denim jackets where I was hooping through pockets and through seams, and it just holds like a bulldog, these hoops. Let me show you my denim jacket that I made. So I did this whole thing. I was using CAIF designs that were built into the B570 CAIF edition. Look at this. So this I did here on the back, I did with the 10 by 10, and then on my arms and on the this part here I did with the 5.5 by 5.5. I'm not done. I'm going to do more stuff on it, but I also did. This is a sneak preview of what you can do with the clamp frame. I did that with the clamp, so I didn't actually hoop where it says CAIF on the sleeves. What do you think? Is it me? Is this? This good? I like it. But anyway, so I did that using the 5.5 by 5.5 magnetic hoop. And man, it was easy. And it's small enough that I could get up inside this sleeve. So I had the back part of that 5.5 by 5.5 magnet hoop in there. Okay, now if I needed to get like a big long design along here, there are optional magnetic frames that that Mighty Hoop makes that we can get for you. There's like a million different sizes, and there's a size for everything, and they're relatively inexpensive. Generally speaking, they're under $200 for a lot of them. Some of them are a little bit more than that. But I mean, it's just an incredible value. The hoops that you can get for this thing, super cool. I love them. So that's the magnetic. That's the Mighty hoops. Now I told you there's also the round hoops you get with this. So you get 3 sizes. And you might say, Brad, I would just use a magnetic hoop. Why would I use these if it's coming with that 5.5 magnet hoop? Well, the thing about embroidering on really shifty materials is if it's really stretchy, you want to have your hoop be as close to where the embroidery is going to be as possible. And you also want to have perfectly even pressure on, or tension kind of on the fabric all the way around. And that's what a round hoop does for you. Plus a round hoop lets you get, when you're doing left chest, it lets you get right up in that spot where you don't end up hooping part of the seam, which can throw off the way that the fabric is being pulled. So anyway, you get 3 of these. There's this is a like a 6-ish inch one, and then this one is almost 5 inches, and then this one is like a 3-inch one. So those are included. Those come with the deal, and these attach to the machine the same way that the other ones did. And I can go into my hoop. Oh, wrong button. I can go into my hoop selector, right? And I can go to my round hoops and I can say, okay, so this is I'm going to use this one, which it says right on it the size. It's the 5.9 inch, so I can choose 5.9 inch. And then that is my design in my embroiderable area, and I can attach the hoop to the machine and go ahead and embroider on it. So those are the standard hoops that come with it. Now I mentioned also that this does come with the cap frame, and it does. So you're getting, with the cap frame set, you're getting a bunch of pieces. This is the cap frame driver. This is what actually attaches to the machine. And then it also has a piece another piece that attaches to the machine. It's called the stabilizer. It's this little bar right here. This isn't actually part of the machine as it comes out of the box. This gets added on. And what this does is it has a bearing on the cap frame driver that rides on that, and that gives it extra stability. And that's one of the reasons that with this cap frame on here, it's still able to run so fast. Now, it doesn't run the full 1400 stitches per minute with the cap frame, but it runs 1200, which is twice what a 6 or a 10 needle will run when it's doing a cap. And it is wild seeing it do that. I just love the sound that this makes. I'll actually embroider on something here so you can hear the joy of this machine running. But yeah, I mean, it's wild watching this thing sew out a hat. I really love the way that it does it. And I'm probably going to do a separate tutorial, like a tutorial video on how to set up and hoop a hat. Maybe at the same time I'll do puffy foam, because look at this. This was my puffy hat. See if you can see the 3D effect there. So this was my second puffy attempt. My first one wasn't quite as good, but it's still pretty good. So this, I used the puffy setting on the machine. Now I got this design from Designs Machine Embroidery's Word Art and Stitches software, which has a bunch of like 12 puffy fonts built into it that are digitized, and they come out really good. Just look at that. This looks so perfect. I mean, I could have my own merch with this. But like I said, the embroiderable area on this is absolutely massive. I've made some hats on this that are kind of too big. Like, they're too big. The hat isn't too big. The design is too big. Let me show you my another hat I made. So this was one of my first experiments for making my own Sovac merch, right? And this design, I mean, it goes from here to here. It's like you gotta like turn your head to see it, but you can see how close I can get to the brim. I could get lower than that if I wanted to. I feel like there's no reason to get any lower than that, but if you wanted to, you actually could with this thing. And then it goes all the way up to here, and I could have gone a little bit higher than this too. So I mean, the design on this could have been ear to ear, literally. That's how big of a field with this amount of width on there. So good, so good. I love it. The cap frame driver that attaches to the machine, and then it also comes with a mounting attachment to that you would mount onto like a shelf or something in order to actually hoop a hat. And the process of hooping a hat is very easy on this. In fact, let me show you real quick. I'm not gonna like go into a lot of explanation, but I'm just gonna show you the process of how you would get a hat hoop to be ready to embroider. Okay, so it's basically 3 steps. You've got your mounting jig here. This comes with the machine, okay? And then you get the cap frame itself attaches to the mount like that. And then you're gonna take your stabilizer, put that on the cap frame, and then it comes with these clips. You just clip that stabilizer in. Okay, then you get your hat that you want to embroider. You flip the sweatband out, and you just push. There's a groove on the cap frame that you put the brim into, and then there's a band that flips over. And it just clips into place. And now I got a hat that's ready to embroider. Super easy. So yeah, isn't that wild? So all the hats that come with it, that's number 3. It's an incredible value that you get. Magnetic frames, you get cap frames, you get round frames, you get a giant rectangular 11 by 14 or a 12 by 14 frame, and then like I said, there's a million other ones that are available for it. But that package of hoops that's coming with it is just fantastic. I love that you get it. Number 4, built-in maintenance tutorials. Okay, so a big difference between a industrial machine like this and one that you have as like a household machine, flatbed style machine, is that there is maintenance that needs to be done to this guy a lot more often than, you know, like a general service would be done on a flatbed embroidery machine. Luckily, the machine tells you when it wants you to do it, and it tells you exactly how to do it, and it comes with everything that you need to do it. All the tools, all the oil, all the grease, everything that you need to get through these service maintenance things that you need to do, and it shows you step by step how to do all of them. So it's really, really cool. I'm thinking that what I'm gonna do as part of, because we're gonna give unlimited one-on-one instruction for this machine just like we would anything else, I think I'm gonna do as part of our classes, we'll do a one-on-one, and we'll do all the service maintenances on my machine so that you're more comfortable doing it on your machine when it's time to do them. But let me just show you kind of the way that the tutorial looks, because it's really easy. So here we go. Let's do my daily maintenance on this machine. Okay, so the maintenance section is right here, and this shows me how far along I am in my daily, my weekly, my monthly, and my quarterly service intervals. Now, I did my daily maintenance today already, but we're gonna pretend like I didn't, and I'm gonna go ahead and do it for you. You can hit the little play button next to the one that you're gonna do. It gives you a warning. It says, "Hey, you better do the service on me. I really mean do the service on me." And then it shows me in pictures, all right, exactly what to do. So step 1, it's showing me take out the bobbin, right, with nice large pictures. So I can go and take my bobbin out. Step 2, it shows me I want you to blow canned air in these 2 spots. All right, it's showing me exactly where to do it, and I can look down in my machine and see exactly where it's talking about. And this is my favorite part of this step. I don't know if you'll be able to hear it. Actually, you know what? I want to show you what it's doing. So I'm gonna move the camera so you can see it. Okay, so I've got my bobbin out, right, like it said to do. And if you see this little thing that's sticking out, I don't know if you can hear it, but it's doing it. It's going. sticking it out right there. What that's doing is it's pushing the dust out so that when I point my canned air in there, it's like pushing the little bits of like threads that got caught in there and dust and fuzz and stuff. It's actually pushing it out. It's making agitation while I'm doing the service maintenance, like on this step 4. It automatically does this until I go to the next section. I love that, and it does this for a bunch of things. It moves the machine in all these ways that it wants you to move the machine in order to service it. It just does all the stuff for you, so you don't need to figure out, oh, how do I get it to this position to make it do this thing now? It's just gonna do it for you. So that's super cool. All right, so now once I've blown out the dust and stuff, and it's stuck its little cutter out a bunch of times, I just hit to the next step. Here it's showing me where to oil it, and it has a little green glow that shows up, and right in that little green glow, that's where it wants the oil. So let me see if we zoom in a little bit, we can see that green glow right there. I love that. That's exactly where it wants the oil, and it just tells you very clearly and succinctly that is where you're supposed to oil me. So I love that. And then once we get to the last step, it tells me put the bobbin case back in, and then it resets the timer for me. So boom, now it knows that it's had its daily maintenance, and if it was yelling at me to do the daily maintenance, it won't anymore. So that is very cool. I love that that feature. I feel like anybody is going to be able to figure out how to do that. And the weekly, the monthly, the quarterly, they're all fairly easy. You know, the more the longer the service interval is, the more stuff has to be done, but none of it is anything that I don't think anybody that's you know, used to using a sewing machine wouldn't be able to do. So that's really cool, and that's number 4. Number 5, automatic color matching. Okay, this one is a huge deal if you're used to using a 6 or a 10 needle. Okay, let me paint you a picture. You have an embroidery design that you want to sew out, and it has several colors, one of which is called goldenrod, right? Now you have on your machine a color called athletic gold, okay, and the last design that you sewed out called for that color, and you assigned it to needle 6. And you bring up this new design, and it has goldenrod. Now goldenrod and athletic gold are both pretty yellow, and you would like to use the color that you already have on the machine that was previously assigned to be athletic gold for the goldenrod, but the machine will see that the design calls for athletic gold, so it will not assign that to that color. It will assign it to a different needle. Even though you've got yellow on there, the design calls for yellow, basically, there's no way to get the machine to just be like, ah, this is the closest thing to yellow I already have on me. Well, guess what? This machine does that. Literally, that's what this machine does. So the machine knows what colors it has on it, okay? It knows what the specific color number is, okay? I have it programmed in that this has this accord color number or whatever for each one of these, okay? So it knows what color that is, and then I bring in a design, and the design calls for whatever color in whatever brand, okay? And it knows what color that is. So what it will do is it will say, ah, well, I don't have goldenrod, but I do have athletic gold. They're both yellows, so I'm gonna assign goldenrod to the same color, to the same needle number where athletic gold is assigned, and then you don't have to do anything if that's what you wanted to do. If you wanted to have yellow be yellow, whatever they call it in the name of the design, awesome, it's done. So that's what this does. This will automatically, when I bring up a design, if I go in and I bring up a design, like let's say that I want to sew out this Batman logo here, right? I don't even know what brand colors I digitized this Batman logo in, but when I bring this in, it's going to automatically assign, okay? It's going to automatically assign, if I look on here, so what it has done is it sees that this design is calling for color number 501, okay? But what it did was it assigned it to needle 10, which has on it color number 310, okay? So it did that because that was the closest color that the machine had on it to the color that it was asking for. And this design is actually asking for very dark brown. Okay, down here, I don't know if you can read that, but the design itself is calling for a very dark brown, and the closest thing it has is the black that I have on needle 14. So when I go to sew this out, I didn't have to go in and reassign colors to different needles. It was just like, boom, there we go. You want those colors? There they are. So and if we do it on a more complicated design, then all the better, right? So if I go in and instead of loading a 2-color design like that, I go in and I load a design that has a lot of colors in it, like this cave flower here, right? And I say, okay, yeah, I want to do this color. Well, it's going to look at this, and it's going to say, all right, well, here's the best colors that I've got for you, Brad. And I can look in here and say, well, here's what we did. Okay, so that and that are good, and then it did this purple and this pink, and then we ran out of pinks. Okay, so if we look here, the design's calling for pink, and it said, well, I've already used pink, and I've already used purple, and I don't have anything else that's like that on my spools. So I'm just going to have to assign the next best thing, and it picked gray. Okay, and it shows me, this preview up here is showing me what that looks like. So even though the original design, when I looked at it, the preview was showing this as a light pink, in this, it's saying, well, that's going to be gray here because I don't have enough pinks. And if you want it to be pink, you're going to have to put another color on. So there is like, okay, now if I want it to be pink, I'm going to have to rethread the machine. Or I could say, well, what if we made it bright white instead? Does that look good? And if you think that looks good, then awesome. It gives you the preview and shows you exactly what it's going to look like when it does that. So that is super, super useful. I love it. I love it. That is like one of my favorite things that this machine does is the automatic color matching. It's amazing. I love it. I love it so much. And when you're doing stuff that's like logo work, where it's like black and yellow and brown and red and blue, you know, and it's not like all these like different shades of pink and all that kind of stuff. It's like bam, 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 perfect. Just brings up exactly the colors that you want, and you know they're the colors that you want because they're the colors that you chose to put on your 16 needles. So that's really great. So that is needle that is number 5. Number 6, the free arm. Okay, so this is going to be a fast one. Essentially, the free arm on this machine is extremely narrow. It is so narrow that I was able to get into some incredibly tight spaces. Look at this. Look at this pocket on this bag. Okay, look how small this is. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculously small. And I was able to actually embroider on it. Now, I just embroidered little bees on it. I didn't have anything in particular that I wanted, but I just wanted to see if I could. And yes, I could. Now, in order to get it on the machine, I did need to use an optional accessory, which I'm going to talk about later, called the fast clamp. But if the free arm wasn't as skinny as it is, I wouldn't have been able to do this. And I was shocked that I was able to do it, actually. Pleasantly shocked. So yeah, so the free arm on this being that narrow, I mean it's so little. Here, let me zoom in on it so you can see what I'm talking about. Just how skinny the free arm is. It's wild. So yeah, that's it. It's so small and it's able to fit into the smallest areas. It is one of my favorite things about this machine. Number 7, the stand. All right, so this stand, like I said, this is included with the machine. It was actually really easy to put together because the 2 legs were fully assembled in the box. And it's not crazy heavy, which I really appreciated. Other multi-needle stands that I've put together have been extremely heavy, and I mean, I guess I always thought that they had to be that heavy to be stable enough to keep the machine from shaking all over the place, but this machine stays steady as a rock when it's running at 1400 RPM, and this stand is very, very light. But it has big wheels and it has big brakes. The wheels have heavy rubber tires, and they have brakes that lock the machine in place. This thing is not going anywhere when I have the brakes engaged on it. And yeah, so The stand is solid, but still light, and it has a shelf, and it's included with the machine. You don't have to buy it. I was shocked when I found out that the stand is coming with this thing. So, what a deal! Number 8, the laser. All right, so this machine has a laser that's going to show me, by default, it's going to show me where the center of the design is. So I can just touch the button at any time and it's going to show me, okay, that's where the center of the design is. But I can also have it run a trace for me where it will go all the way around the outside of the design. Okay, so that's showing me exactly where my design is going to be on my material. I can also move it so that it stays right. This is going to be the spot closest to me, the spot farthest from me, the spot furthest to the right, the spot furthest to the left, back to the center. So you can see just exactly where the design is going to go. And then it also has a like a 2-point positioning system where I can place my design by defining 2 points, and then I can say, okay, I want the design to be centered or underneath of the line or above the line. So you can use this laser to precisely place your embroidery, and I found it to be really helpful to be able to tell whether something is going to fit on, for instance, something that I'm clamping. Like if I'm doing like a dog leash or a belt or something like that, that laser is going to show me for sure whether my design is going to fit on that item. So having that laser for placement is crucial, and it's excellent, and it is my number 8 favorite feature. Number 9, speed. Yeah, number 9 is the speed that this machine runs at, and you're about to see it. I'm gonna just go ahead and sew out a quick lettering design, and I'm gonna let you watch this thing go at its normal speed. Okay, so this is a satin stitch design. And normally I see design speeds when I'm sewing out lettering on multi-needle machines that are not approaching 1,000 stitches per minute. So I have this set to do 1,400. The machine will tell me how fast it's going. I'm going to call out how fast it's going while it's running here. So here we go. I'm going to hit start. All right, we're at 1350, 1400. 1350. So we are actually doing this design at full speed. Yeah, it's running at 1,400 stitches per minute. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you can watch it. The fastest E in the West. Look at that. And the cutter is so perfect, and the wiper brings it up. I love watching this thing embroider. So I'm not going to sew out the whole design. The whole design says Bernina E16 Pro, but you don't have to watch it do that. I just wanted you to see for yourself the ridiculous speed at which this machine runs, because, I mean, it's fast. So I promise I didn't speed up the video on that. That is actually the speed that it goes. Yeah, so that's why number 9 is speed, because man, this thing is fast. Number 10, fast clamps. All right, so number 10 is an optional accessory. This isn't something that comes with the machine, but it's something that I think everybody should get. It's called the fast clamp system, and what it allows you to do is basically, instead of hooping an item, it literally clamps onto it with clamping jaws that are very powerful, and they clamp onto anything. It comes with 3 different sizes of clamps, and it has a whole thing that you attach to the machine. Let me show you what it looks like. So this attaches to the machine in place of the standard hoop arms, and these are adjustable, and they have little jaws that open up, and these will clamp onto just about anything. There's this soft rubber on the inside here that clamps down and holds fast onto whatever it is that you want to hoop. You can adjust these, and there are little measurements on the bar here so I can see where I have them adjusted. You can adjust them to be real wide, real narrow, yeah, they're super versatile, and this set comes with these. This is the medium set. If you look, you can see the markings that are on there. This makes it really easy to make sure that you have stuff straight, because you just make sure that you're lining up with the same marking on both sides of the clamp. This is the medium set. I'm going to open up the box and show you the smaller and the larger arms. So this is the box that they come in, and it comes with these smaller set of arms here, along with the longer arms. So no matter what the project is that you're doing, you'll be able to grab onto it. If you need to get really far down deep into something, you can use those really big arms. Or if you got something that's really tiny, you can use these arms. I found that the medium ones are very, very versatile though. So that's what I've been playing with mostly, are those. Now let me show you what it looks like when you're using these on the machine. Okay, so I've got my fast clamps attached to the machine. I can open and close the jaws at will here. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab a bag. This is some kind of zipper bag. It's something I got from a trade show. And I'm going to attach this to the machine, and we're just going to embroider on this real quick. So this is a zippered bag. I know you can't see it because we're too zoomed in, but this is like some kind of canvas. This would be challenging to hoop and get an embroidery right along here. All right, so I'm going to try to hoop this on here as straight as I can. Not hoop, I'm going to try to clamp this on here as straight as I can, but it's a little challenging to film it and do it without blocking it at the same time. So if it looks like I'm struggling, it's just because I'm trying not to block the camera, which makes it a little more awkward than it would be otherwise. So I clamp down on one side. I'm going to go ahead and clamp down on the other side here. Try to make sure that I have it as straight as possible by just making sure that I'm clamping onto the item and lining up the marks on the frame. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 marks on this side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 marks on that side. That's pretty straight. And so we're now going to go ahead and place the design in here by using the laser. I'm going to go and see right where the middle of the design is, and then maybe do a trace to make sure that it's going to all fit in there. Okay, looks like it's going to fit right in where I want it to. And then just for my own sanity, I'm going to stick a piece of stabilizer back here. I could probably get away with embroidering on this without any stabilization, because this canvas really isn't going to move anywhere. But I'm going to just to be safe, I'm going to stick a piece of stabilizer in here. And it's real easy to do. You can kind of push it up and then fold it over the free arm, and I'm just going to push that so that it is underneath of my material, and I can just go ahead and start the embroidery. I'm going to hit the start button, and it'll begin embroidering just like that. Okay, I did speed it up that time, by the way. It wasn't actually that fast. All right, so now I can just unclamp. Didn't mean to drop it on the ground, but here we go. So that is embroidered right on this zip up bag here, and it came out perfectly. So there's the front, there's the back, where I just tore off the stabilizer. Looks lovely. Very, very cool. So these clamps are awesome. I used them on my Caith jacket to embroider right on the end of the sleeves. Come on, focus on it. Trying to get my camera to focus. But I have this embroidery right on the sleeve. There we go. And I used the clamps to do that. And it came out really, really good. So, like I said, you can basically clamp onto anything with this. I had it up in the back of some jeans pockets, and I showed you that tiny pocket that I got it to go into on that backpack. So with these clamps, you can literally embroider on anything with them. I'm super impressed with these. I love them. And I think it's a great accessory. Like I said, it doesn't come with it. They're an optional accessory. So they're normally $949. We have them at an introductory price if you buy it with the machine for $799. So that's a good accessory. I do recommend getting that, but it is optional, like I said. Okay guys, that's it. That's my top 10 for this machine. I'm going to do, like I said, probably some tutorial videos once I have some more of them sold on how my recommendations on how to do a hat hoop and stuff, because I know you guys like to watch me do stuff. But they do have tons of really good videos. The classes that come with the machine are excellent. And of course, you're getting unlimited one-on-one instruction for life from me when you buy one of these from us. So just like I said, this is $16,599 is how much the machine is, and it comes with everything you need to get started, including the thread, which is great. And we sell all the stuff that you might need to go along with it. And yeah, it's my new favorite machine. This is like all I'm probably going to embroider on for the foreseeable future is this thing. Well, I hope that you enjoyed learning all about the new Bernina E16 Pro. If you want to come see it in person, we do have it here in the store. Obviously, this is it. You can come in and I'll give you a demonstration. You can even bring something weird to try and embroider, and we can embroider it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.